Her calculated betrayal. Shocking cheating stories revealed. I wasn't snooping. I just wanted to edit her video to make her smile. But what I saw at 2 a.m. on that footage. It ripped my heart out and turned our love into one of those cheating stories. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. My name's Daniel Harper. I'm 32, a freelance financial consultant with a knack for numbers and a heart that used to beat for one woman. Claire Mitchell, 29, my fiancée. We met 4 years ago at a friend's rooftop party in Portland. Her laugh cutting through the crowd like sunlight through clouds. Claire was magnetic, witty, warm, the kind of woman who could charm a room without trying. We clicked instantly, trading playlists over coffee, her hazel eyes locking onto mine as we talked about everything from indie bands to old noir films. A year later, I proposed under a string of fairy lights in our backyard, and she said yes, her smile brighter than the stars. We moved in together, built a life in a cozy loft with exposed brick walls, and filled it with shared Spotify lists and late-night movie marathons on a second-hand projector. Our net worth was solid, maybe $1 million thanks to my investments and her marketing job, but we weren't flashy. Think craft beer, not champagne. I used to think love was enough. This is my cheating wife story, though Claire wasn't my wife yet. Still, the betrayal stings the same, and I never thought I'd be living one of those cheating stories you read online. It started with small cracks. Claire used to curl up next to me, her fingers tracing my arm as we watched Casablanca for the 10th time. But 6 months ago, she started pulling away. Her kisses became rushed, her eyes glued to her phone. "Work's insane," she'd say, slipping out the door in heels, her perfume lingering like a ghost. I believed her. I trusted her. Claire was the woman who'd cry over a sad song, who'd leave me sticky notes with doodled hearts. How could she be anything but honest? The first twist hit 3 months ago. We'd planned a weekend getaway to the coast, a chance to reconnect. I'd booked a cabin, packed her favorite snacks. But Friday morning, she canceled. "Big project deadline," she said, barely looking up from her laptop. "I'll make it up to you, Dan." I swallowed my disappointment, drove home alone, and spent the weekend staring at the ocean, her absence heavier than the waves. When I got back, her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Ryan, just a smiley face. My gut twisted, but I didn't say anything. I wasn't that guy, the paranoid fiancé, but that smiley face? It was the seed of doubt that grew into this emotional cheating story. Claire's distance grew. She'd come home late, her hair mussed, her excuses flimsy. Client dinners, she'd say, or team drinks. Our movie nights stopped. Our playlist went untouched. She'd snap at me for small things, leaving dishes in the sink, forgetting to buy her coffee. "You're so predictable, Dan," she said once, her tone sharp enough to cut. I'd lie awake, her words echoing, wondering when I'd become the problem in our toxic relationship story. The second twist was a video. Claire loved making little montages, clips of us hiking, laughing, kissing in the rain. She'd asked me to edit one for our anniversary, a surprise she wanted to post online. I sat at my desk, 2 a.m., the loft quiet except for the hum of my laptop. I scrolled through her footage, smiling at memories of her twirling in a sundress, her voice calling my name. Then I saw it, a clip she hadn't meant to include. Claire, laughing in a dimly lit bar, her hand on a man's arm. He leaned in, whispering, and she giggled, her eyes sparkling in a way they hadn't for me in months. The timestamp? Last Friday, when she'd said she was swamped at work. My chest tightened. This wasn't just a cheating wife story waiting to happen. This was proof caught cheating on camera, and it burned. I paused the video, zoomed in. The man's face was familiar. Ryan, her ex from college. The one she'd sworn was ancient history. I checked her phone's location history later that night, my hands shaking. She'd been at that bar, not her office. The lie was a knife, and I was bleeding. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to be sure. I dug deeper, hating myself for it. Her social media had subtle clues. Likes on Ryan's posts. A tagged photo at a concert she'd gone to with friends. Each discovery was a twist in this infidelity story time, building a case I didn't want to believe. I read Reddit cheating stories late at night, searching for answers, but nothing prepared me for the truth. The third twist was the confrontation. I waited until Saturday, when Claire was home, her hair in a messy bun, sipping coffee like everything was normal. I played the video on my laptop, her laughter filling the room. "What's this, Claire?" I asked, my voice steady despite the storm inside. She froze, her mug halfway to her lips. For a moment, I thought she'd cry, beg, explain. Instead, she leaned back, her eyes cold. "Maybe you're just not enough, Dan," she said. "Ryan makes me feel alive. You're just safe." Her words were a sledgehammer. For years, a ring, a home, reduced to not enough. This wasn't just a wife betrayal confession. It was a deliberate gutting. I stood there, numb, as she admitted she'd been texting Ryan for months, meeting him behind my back. She didn't even hide it. "I need more than this," she said, gesturing at our loft at me. "Ryan's got ambition. You're stuck." Could have screamed. I could have thrown her phone, demanded answers. But I didn't. I looked at her, the woman I'd loved, and saw a stranger. "We're done," I said, my voice quiet. She blinked, like she hadn't expected that. "Dan, wait," she started. But I was already walking away, grabbing my keys, my laptop, my dignity. This was my husband revenge story, not with fists or fury, but with silence. I moved out that night, crashing at a friend's place, the city lights blurring through my tears. I texted Claire's parents, thanking them for their warmth, telling them it was over. My phone buzzed with her calls, her texts. "I didn't mean it, Dan, let's talk." But I didn't answer. I'd lived one of those cheating stories, and I wasn't going back. The next week, I started therapy. Not to fix me. I wasn't broken, but to understand why I trusted so blindly. I rented a small apartment, nothing fancy, just a place to breathe. Claire kept trying to reach me, leaving voicemails that ranged from apologies to excuses. I was stressed, Dan. Ryan was a mistake. I deleted them all. Her voice, once my comfort, was now a reminder of betrayal. This cheating wife caught moment wasn't the end. It was the start of something else. A life where I'd learned to trust again. Not her, but myself. Sometimes the strongest response to betrayal is choosing yourself. But was I too quick to let go? The rain streaked down the window of my new apartment, a one-bedroom haven where I'd started to rebuild. My laptop sat unopened on the desk. The video of Claire and Ryan still burned into my mind. I'd left her, left our loft, left the life we'd planned. But her words, "You're just not enough," echoed like a ghost I couldn't shake. This cheating wife story wasn't over. It was clawing at me, demanding I face the pieces I'd left behind. I threw myself into routine. Mornings were for coffee and client calls, my financial consulting work a steady anchor. Evenings were quieter, journaling in a leather notebook, therapy sessions twice a week. My therapist, Dr. Ellis, didn't sugarcoat it. "You're grieving, Daniel," she said. "Not just Claire, but the version of yourself who trusted her." I nodded, staring at the rain outside her office, the drops blurring the city lights. Grieving felt right, but so did surviving. I wasn't the naive fiancé anymore, blindsided by a wife affair exposed. I was learning to be someone new. Claire didn't stop trying to reach me. Her texts came daily, at first short apologies, then longer pleas. "I messed up, Dan. Ryan was nothing. Can we talk?" I deleted them, but each one stung, a reminder of her betrayal. One night, I found a voicemail, her voice shaky. "I saw your text to my parents. You didn't have to be so final." I almost laughed. Final? She'd been the one planning to marry me for stability, while chasing Ryan for thrills. This wasn't just a cheating stories thread on Reddit. This was my life, and I wasn't her fallback plan. The fourth twist came at a coffee shop. I was meeting a client, my laptop open, when Claire walked in. She looked different. Her hair loose, no makeup, her usual confidence replaced by something fragile. She spotted me, hesitated, then approached. "Dan," she said, her voice soft. "Can I sit?" My instinct was to leave, but I nodded, curious despite myself. She sat, clutching a to-go cup. "I ended things with Ryan," she said. "For good. I know you don't believe me, but I'm trying to fix what I broke." I studied her, searching for the lie. Her eyes were red, her hands trembling. "Why tell me?" I asked, my tone flat. She swallowed. "Because I owe you the truth. I was selfish, Dan. I thought Ryan was excitement, but he wasn't you. I didn't see what I had until you were gone." Her words were a punch, not because I wanted her back, but because they confirmed what I'd feared. Our love had been a game to her, a toxic relationship story she'd rewritten to suit her needs. I didn't yell. I didn't beg for details. "I'm glad you're figuring it out," I said, closing my laptop. "But I'm not part of your story anymore." I stood, walked out, the rain cool on my face. Her confession wasn't closure. It was another twist in this infidelity story time, leaving me to wonder if she'd ever truly loved me. Life moved forward. I started running again, the Portland trails a quiet escape where I could think. I wrote more, not just journal entries, but short stories, pouring my pain into fictional betrayals and redemptions. Friends checked in, inviting me to dinners, but I kept my distance. I wasn't ready to be Daniel, the guy who got cheated on. I wanted to be Daniel, period. This true cheating story had taken enough. I wouldn't let it define me. The fifth twist was a letter. It arrived in my mailbox, Claire's handwriting neat on the envelope. My hands shook as I opened it, expecting another plea. Instead, it was different. "Daniel," it began, "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I need you to know I'm in therapy, working on why I hurt you. Ryan was a symptom, not the cause. I was chasing something I didn't understand, and I broke us. You were more than enough. I was too lost to see it." I read it twice, the words heavy. This wasn't a caught cheating on camera moment, meant for drama. It was raw, almost honest. Almost. I didn't reply, but I kept the letter, tucking it into a drawer. Not because I believed her, but because it was proof I'd survived her. Her wife betrayal confession didn't heal me. It reminded me I was healing myself. The sixth twist came at a mutual friend's barbecue. I'd almost skipped it, but I went, craving normalcy. Claire was there, across the yard, talking to someone I didn't know. She looked up, our eyes meeting for a second before I turned away. Later, she approached, a beer in hand. "I'm not here to bother you," she said. I saw you smile earlier. It's good to see." I nodded, unsure what to say. "Thanks," I managed, and she walked away, leaving me with a strange mix of anger and relief. She wasn't chasing me anymore. Was she really changing? Or was this another act in her cheating wife-caught saga? I started noticing changes in myself. Therapy helped me unpack the shame I'd carried, the voice that whispered I hadn't been enough. I bought a new projector, watched old films alone, reclaiming the things we'd shared. One night, I played our old Spotify list, expecting pain. Instead, I felt okay. The songs were just songs, not memories of her. This emotional cheating story was losing its grip, bit by bit. The seventh twist was unexpected. I ran into Ryan at a bookstore of all places. He was in the fiction section, looking as smug as I'd imagined. He recognized me, his smile faltering. "Daniel, right?" he said, like we were old pals. I could have ignored him, but I didn't. "Yeah," I said, my voice calm. "You're the guy who thought he could take what was mine." His face reddened. "It wasn't like that," he stammered. "Claire and it's over. She's different now." I raised an eyebrow. "Good for her," I said, walking away. His words stuck, though. Different. I didn't care about Claire's redemption arc, but the fact that Ryan confirmed it, without prompting, made me pause. Was this cheating wife story evolving into something I hadn't predicted? The eighth twist was a conversation with Claire's mom. She called me, her voice warm but hesitant. "Daniel, I know you don't owe us anything," she said. "But Claire's struggling. She's in therapy trying to be better. She doesn't expect you back. She just..." She talks about you, how you were good to her. I listened, my throat tight. I appreciate you telling me, I said. But I'm moving on. I hung up, the rain outside heavier now, washing the city clean. I didn't hate Claire. I didn't love her either. I just wanted to be free. I started teaching myself to cook, simple things like pasta with homemade sauce. I invited friends over, their laughter filling my apartment, drowning out the silence. One evening, I met someone, Lila, a quiet woman with a sharp mind and a gentle smile. She wasn't Claire, all charisma and charm. She was steady, real, the kind of person who listened when I spoke. We talked about books, not playlists, and for the first time I felt a spark that wasn't tied to pain. This wasn't a revenge-cheating wife tale. It was messier, truer. Claire was out there, maybe changing, maybe not. I was here, learning to trust again, not with grand gestures, but with small steps. As I watched the rain, Lila's number saved in my phone, I wondered, could I love again? Or would Claire's betrayal always linger? What would you do if the person who broke you was trying to rebuild themselves, but you'd already chosen to walk away? The morning light spilled into my apartment, catching the edges of a new bookshelf I'd built myself. Its shelves lined with novels and journals, a quiet testament to the life I was carving out. A steaming mug of coffee warmed my hands as I stood by the window, watching Portland wake up, the streets slick from last night's rain. My phone sat silent, no more texts from Claire, no voicemails begging for a response. The absence was a relief, but it carried a weight, too. This cheating wife story had reshaped me, and though I'd walked away, its echoes lingered in the choices I made each day. I settled into a rhythm. My financial consulting work kept me busy, clients trusting my steady hand with their portfolios. Therapy with Dr. Ellis was less frequent now, down to once a month, but it remained a compass, guiding me through the fog of betrayal. I ran most mornings, the trails a place to clear my head, my breath sinking with the crunch of gravel underfoot. Lila, the woman I'd met at a friend's dinner, had become a gentle presence. Coffee dates turning into long walks, her calm honesty a contrast to Claire's electric charm. We weren't rushing, but each conversation with her felt like a step toward something real. A cautious hope I hadn't expected to find after Claire's wife affair exposed. The ninth twist came at a local art gallery. I'd gone with Lila, her idea to check out a new exhibit of abstract paintings, vibrant swirls of color that seemed to pulse with life. As we wandered, sipping wine and debating the meaning of a particularly chaotic canvas, I saw Claire across the room. She was alone, her hair pulled back, a simple black dress replacing her usual bold style. Our eyes met, and for a moment, the gallery faded, the chatter, the clink of glasses, Lila's hand brushing mine. Claire gave a small nod, not a smile, just acknowledgement, and turned back to the painting she'd been studying. I could have ignored her, kept walking with Lila, but something pulled me forward. "I'll be right back," I told Lila, who nodded, her expression curious but trusting. I approached Claire, my heart steady. "Hey," I said, stopping a few feet away. She turned, her face unguarded. "Daniel," she said, her voice soft. "I didn't expect to see you." There was no plea in her tone, no agenda, just a statement like she was as surprised as I was. We talked, briefly, standing beside a painting of fractured blues and reds. "I'm still in therapy," she said, unprompted. "It's hard, but it's helping. I'm learning why I did what I did." I nodded, not sure what to say. "That's good," I managed. She looked at me, her eyes clear. "You seem okay, Dan. Really okay." It wasn't a question, but I answered anyway. "I am." She smiled, small and sad. "I'm glad." We parted without promises, without closure, just a moment that felt like the end of one chapter and the start of another. Back with Lila, I felt lighter, like I'd shed a weight I hadn't known I was carrying. "Everything all right?" she asked, her voice gentle. I took her hand, squeezing it. "Yeah, just tying up a loose end." She didn't press, and that was one of the things I liked about her. No need for explanations, just presence. This wasn't a dramatic cheating stories showdown, just a quiet acknowledgement that Claire was no longer the center of my world. The 10th twist was a package. It arrived at my apartment, a small box with no return address. Inside was a USB drive and a note in Claire's handwriting. "I found this while moving. Thought you should have it." My stomach churned as I plugged the drive into my laptop, expecting another video, another stab of betrayal. Instead, it was a collection of photos, us from the early days. Claire and me hiking in the Columbia Gorge, laughing at a food truck festival, kissing under Christmas lights. There was a video, too, one I'd forgotten. Claire singing off-key to our favorite song, her face lit by the projector's glow, my laughter in the background. I sat there, the images flickering, and felt nothing. Not anger, not love, just a distant ache for a time that no longer existed. This wasn't a wife-cheating confession meant to pull me back. It was Claire letting go, giving me pieces of a past I could choose to keep or discard. I saved the photos, not for her, but for me, a reminder of who I'd been before the pain. The video I deleted. Some memories were better left behind. Life with Lila grew steadier. We cooked together, her quiet precision balancing my experimental chaos. One night, as we chopped vegetables, she asked about Claire. Not with jealousy, but curiosity. "She hurt you," Lila said, her knife pausing. "How do you move past that?" I thought for a moment, the sizzle of garlic in the pan filling the silence. "You don't erase it," I said. "You just build something new, something that matters more." She nodded, and we kept cooking, the moment simple but profound. This emotional cheating story was no longer about Claire. It was about what I chose to create. The 11th twist was a chance encounter with Ryan. I saw him at a bar, alone, nursing a drink. He looked rougher than before, his charm faded. Could have walked away, but I didn't. I sat beside him, ordered a beer. "Daniel," he said, startled. "Didn't expect to see you." I shrugged. "Life's funny like that." We talked, not as enemies, but as two people who'd been tangled in the same mess. "Claire's different now," he said, unprompted. "She's serious about fixing herself." I nodded, sipping my beer. "Hope it works for her." I meant it. Not for Claire's sake, but for my own. I was done carrying resentment. I left the bar, the night air crisp, and realized I hadn't thought about Claire in days. Her betrayal, once a gaping wound, was now a scar. Still there, but no longer bleeding. I'd read enough Reddit cheating stories to know how rare that was, how easy it was to stay angry. But anger was heavy, and I'd chosen to set it down. The final twist came at a friend's wedding. Lila and I went together, her hand in mine as we watched the vows, the couple's promises ringing through the garden. I felt no envy, no bitterness, just a quiet gratitude for where I was. Claire was there too, a guest on the bride's side. We didn't speak, but our eyes met during the reception, a brief glance across the dance floor. She looked at peace, her smile soft as she chatted with friends. I turned back to Lila, who was laughing at something a guest had said, and felt the same peace in myself. Later, as Lila and I danced, her head resting on my shoulder, I thought about love. Not the wild, consuming kind I'd had with Claire, but the steady, deliberate kind I was building now. Lila didn't need me to be enough. She chose me, flaws and all, just as I chose her. This wasn't a husband revenge story with a tidy ending. It was messier, truer. A life rebuilt not on erasing the past, but on growing beyond it. Months later, I heard through a friend that Claire had moved to Seattle, starting fresh with a new job, still in therapy. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. My apartment was home now, filled with Lila's books, my journals, the smell of coffee we brewed together. I ran my trails, worked my clients, loved in a way that felt honest. Claire's cheating stories had broken me, but they'd also taught me. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice to honor someone, even when it's hard. Viora fam, what would you do if the person who shattered you became a stranger you no longer hated? Did I let go too easily? Or did I protect something greater by choosing myself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if this story stirred you, and subscribe to Viora for more raw, real cheating stories that make you feel every twist. Sometimes the greatest strength is walking away, not to punish, but to rebuild. But was I right to close that door for good?